Okay, so you've all sent in some really interesting stuff this week.
Yeah.
A lot of it focusing on this proposed 25% tariff on imported auto parts.
Right.
And the big question that keeps coming up is, how is this going to hit Arizona's repair shops?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to finding and keeping good technicians. Like, we already know it's tough out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. A real challenge even before this tariff talk.
So we really want to dive deep today.
Yeah.
See how this tariff could shake things up.
Right.
For the shops themselves, the costs, for the workers, for everyone, really.
Absolutely.
And then we've got Jess Recruiting right there in Chandler,
Yeah, interesting company.
focusing on the auto industry, helping shops find people.
Really interesting to see if they can make a difference with all this uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, tariffs, they're like this.
I've got reports, news articles, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, we've got a lot to dig into.
So let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
So when we talk about a tariff,
Right.
essentially what we're talking about is a tax.
Yeah, it's like a tax on stuff coming into the country.
Right, imports.
Imports, exactly.
And, governments do this for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah, like trying to give their own industries a boost.
Right, make those imports pricier so people buy local.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Make it more expensive.
And sometimes it's about, just getting more money for the government.
Yeah, revenue. It's
Yeah.
a way to raise funds.
And then there's the whole international trade game.
Oh, yeah. Tariffs can be a big bargaining chip in those negotiations.
Right, trying to get other countries to play ball.
Exactly. It's all very strategic.
But the thing is, these taxes,
Right.
they don't just stay put,
Definitely not. They have a ripple effect.
a ripple effect.
They ripple.
It's the consumers who often end up fitting the bill, right?
Yeah, a lot of the time, it's the people buying the stuff who end up paying more.
Higher prices.
Higher prices, exactly.
And then there's always that risk of other countries fighting back with their own tariffs.
Retaliation, yeah.
Yeah, it can get messy.
It can turn into a trade war pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how does this all play into, the whole automotive repairs situation in Arizona?
Well, think about it this way. Even though a repair shop, it's a service, right? They're not selling imported goods directly,
Right.
but the parts they use,
The part.
those are often imported.
Right, that's their bread and butter.
Exactly. So when those parts suddenly get a lot more expensive,
Because of the tariff.
yeah, because of the tariff, it puts a real squeeze on their business.
So let's talk about that squeeze then. This
Yeah.
25% tariff,
Mm-hmm.
if it goes through,
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at a pretty big jump in costs for these repair shops, right?
Right, yeah, definitely. Their expenses are going to go up.
I mean, the stuff you sent over, the data,
Yeah.
it's pretty clear how much the U.S. auto repair industry relies on parts from other countries.
It's a global industry, for sure.
6 out of 10 replacement parts.
Yeah, about 6 out of every 10 parts used in repairs here.
Coming from places like Mexico, Canada, China. It's huge.
That's a lot.
It is.
There's not a small thing.
No, it's not.
And if we zoom in on Mexico specifically,
Okay.
they're a big player in this.
Oh, they're huge. I think they're around 43% of all the auto parts coming into the U.S.
Wow, 43%?
So a tariff like this hitting those imports from Mexico is going to be a big deal for Arizona shops.
A big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And it's not just about
Generic parts.
the aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, the aftermarket parts.
It hits the OEM parts too.
The OEM.
Yeah, the ones from the car manufacturers themselves.
Right, right.
A good chunk of those are made outside the U.S. too.
Really?
Yeah, like 44%.
So even if a shop is like going for the top of the line parts,
Right, the original manufacturer parts,
they're still getting hit by this tariff.
they're still going to feel the impact.
I was looking at one of the reports you sent and it said
Yeah.
for collision repairs,
Mm.
just the OEM parts alone could go up by $100 to $150 per claim.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
Ah,
That's a lot.
it is.
I mean, think about it from the customer's point of view.
right.
You come in, you need a repair.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly it's $150 more expensive.
Yeah, that could be a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah, maybe they put off the repair,
Right. Or maybe they start looking for cheaper options.
which might not be the best in the long run.
Exactly.
And it's not just, folks with foreign cars who are going to feel this, right?
No, not at all.
Because even American cars,
Yeah.
they use parts from all over the world.
It's a global supply chain.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Super interconnected.
So this tariff,
yeah,
it's like throwing a wrench into this whole intricate system.
it's a big disruption.
Yeah.
And it's going to make repairs more expensive for pretty much any car.
Any car.
Yeah,
Because the costs for those shops, they're just going up.
they are. And
Yeah.
they're going to have to pass some of that on to the customer.
Yeah, they can't absorb it all.
No, they go out of business.
So what does that mean for the average driver in Arizona then?
Well, it could mean a few things.
Yeah.
Some people, they might start delaying those repairs.
Right, if it's not urgent.
Yeah, if it can wait, they might wait.
Or maybe they start looking for cheaper, maybe riskier fixes.
Yeah, maybe cutting corners,
Yeah,
using
right.
lower quality parts.
Right, which could lead to more problems down the road.
Exactly. It's a bit of a gamble.
And then in the long term, we might even see people just getting their cars serviced less often.
That's a real concern, yeah. People putting off that regular maintenance.
So higher prices, they not only hurt the shops,
Right.
but they could also end up hurting car owners in the long run.
Yeah, because neglecting maintenance can lead to bigger problems.
So it's like this domino effect.
Exactly.
Tariff hits the parts get more expensive, repairs get more expensive.
And then people either pay more or they delay or skip maintenance.
Right, and nobody really wins in that scenario.
Nobody wins, exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the tariff and the parts,
Yeah.
but there's another piece to this puzzle.
Oh, yeah, big one.
The workers, the technicians.
The people who actually do the repairs.
Right.
And that's a whole other challenge.
And it was already a challenge before this whole tariff thing came up.
It was.
We're talking about a shortage of skilled technicians in Arizona.
Big shortage.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a while.
It has. We've got an aging workforce
Right, people retiring.
and not enough young people coming in to replace them.
Yeah, not enough new blood.
And it's not just an Arizona problem either.
Right, it's nationwide.
It's a nationwide shortage.
So this tariff, it's not creating this worker shortage.
No, not at all.
But it's adding fuel to the fire.
It's adding another layer of complexity to an already difficult situation.
Yeah, it's making a tough situation even tougher.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the numbers.
Okay.
How bad is this shortage projected to get?
Well, in Arizona, by 2030, they're predicting a 14% increase in job openings for auto mechanics.
14%.
That's almost 19,000 new positions they'll need to fill.
Just in Arizona.
Just in Arizona.
And nationwide.
Over 67,000 openings every year.
That's a lot of jobs.
It is. The demand is definitely there.
So before this tariff talk even started,
Yeah.
how hard was it for shops in Arizona to find qualified technicians?
Oh, it was already competitive.
Yeah.
You had independent shops, dealerships, all vying for the same pool of talent.
And what were the salaries like back then?
Well, in early 2025, the average hourly pay for everyone working in a shop
Okay.
was about $23.61,
Okay.
which works out to around $49,112 per year.
And for mechanics specifically?
Mechanics were averaging a little higher, around $50,645 annually.
Right.
But most were making somewhere between $40,500 and $57,300.
Okay.
But that's just the average.
Right.
Some of those really experienced mechanics, they were getting paid a lot more.
How much more?
I heard stories of some guys making like $100 an hour.
$100 an hour.
Yeah, if you had the skills and the experience,
Oh.
it was a seller's market for sure.
But I guess it varied depending on where in Arizona you were.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Different cities, different pay, like Scottsdale, Arizona City, Gilbert, they tended to pay more for shop positions in general.
Right.
But for mechanics, Scottsdale, Peoria, Mesa, they were usually the highest.
So you've got this super competitive market. Everyone's fighting for workers.
Yep.
And it's not just about the money, is it?
No, it's not just about the money.
Shops had to offer other things to attract people, right?
Oh, absolutely. Benefits.
Yeah. Health insurance, retirement plans.
A good work environment, that's crucial.
Right. A place where people want to come to work.
Exactly. And opportunities to learn and grow, to advance their careers.
If a shop didn't offer all that,
Yeah.
they were going to have a hard time.
They were going to struggle to find people and keep them.
So let's bring that 25% tariff back in.
Okay.
How is this going to make things even harder for shops when it comes to attracting and keeping workers?
Well, think about it. The tariff means higher costs for the shops.
Right. We talked about that.
They're paying more for parts, which means they have less money for other things.
Like salaries and benefits?
Exactly. So it's going to be even harder to offer competitive packages.
Especially when you've got this shortage already, right?
Yeah, technicians are in high demand, so they have options.
They can be picky.
They can. And if they don't see the money or the benefits,
Yeah.
they'll go somewhere else.
And it's not just about new hires, right?
No, it's about keeping the ones you already have, too. Retention is key.
Retention, yeah.
You've got experienced technicians. They know what they're worth. If the shop can't give them a raise or has to cut back on benefits,
Yeah.
those guys are going to start looking around.
Right. See what else is out there.
Exactly. And losing good technicians, that's expensive.
Yeah. You have to spend time and money finding replacements.
Recruitment, training, it all adds up.
Plus, you lose productivity team morale can suffer.
And customer service can take a hit, too.
So it's a real ripple effect.
It is. It really is.
Now, I was thinking, maybe some shops will try to hire more entry-level technicians.
Yeah, that's one way to try to save money.
Right. Pay them less.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a perfect solution, is it?
No, it's not.
What are the downsides there?
Well, you're hiring people with less experience,
Right.
which means you have to invest more in training them.
Right. You can't just throw them into the deep end,
No, you need to teach them the ropes.
which takes time and money.
It does.
And in the meantime, they might not be as productive.
Exactly.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, you save money on wages, but you spend money on training.
Yeah. And you might have some growing pains along the way.
So maybe this whole situation will push shops to be more efficient.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have to streamline their operations.
Yeah, make every dollar count.
Exactly. And the service advisors, they become even more important.
How so?
Well, they're the ones talking to the customers,
Right.
explaining the situation.
Right, maybe the repairs are going to cost more because of the tariff.
Or take longer.
So the service advisor needs to be really good at communication.
Yeah, keep those customers happy.
Exactly.
So we're talking about a lot of challenges here.
We are.
Increased costs, worker shortages.
Yeah, it's a tough environment for these shops.
So this is where Jess Recruiting comes in, right?
Right, they might be able to help.
They're based in Chandler, Arizona. They focus specifically on the auto industry.
Which is important, you know?
Right, they understand this world.
They get it.
Their whole thing is helping shops find and keep good employees.
Yeah, talent acquisition and retention.
And it looks like they offer some really interesting services.
Yeah, some unique stuff.
So looking at what they do and then considering this whole tariff situation, it seems like they might be in a good position to help these shops, right?
Yeah, potentially. They could be a real asset.
They've got a lot of experience in the automotive world.
Yeah, they know the ins and outs.
They know the roles, the skills needed,
They know what it takes to succeed in this industry.
and they use a mix of traditional and modern recruiting methods.
Yeah, they're not stuck in the old ways.
They're using data, even AI.
They're embracing technology.
So they probably have access to a much bigger pool of technicians than a shop could find on its own,
That's their advantage, yeah.
especially now when shops might have less money to spend on recruiting.
Exactly, because of the tariff.
So let's talk about some of their specific services.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me was the Interview Now, Pay Later program.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
How does that work?
So basically, you don't pay Jess Recruiting anything up front.
Okay.
You only pay them after they've found you a technician and that person starts working.
So for a shop that's worried about cash flow because of the tariff,
Right, they're already facing higher costs.
this could be a real lifesaver, right?
You could,
They
absolutely.
don't have to shell out a bunch of money up front.
Nope. And Jess Recruiting handles all the initial steps.
Like what?
Finding the candidates, screening them, doing the interviews.
So the shop owner doesn't have to deal with all that.
They can focus on running their business.
And they even offer to defer the cost of background checks.
Yeah, to help ease the financial burden.
That's a nice touch.
It is.
And then there's that 30-day replacement guarantee.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
So if the new hire doesn't work out, they'll find you someone else.
Yeah, no extra cost.
That's great peace of mind.
It is, especially when every hiring decision is so crucial.
Yeah, especially now.
Exactly.
They also have this try before you buy program.
That's another good one.
How does that one work?
So before you commit to hiring someone permanently, you can have them work in your shop for a while.
Kind of like a trial period.
Exactly. See how they fit in, see if their skills are up to par.
Yeah, make sure it's a good match.
It takes some of the guesswork out of hiring.
Which is really important when every dollar counts, right?
Absolutely. You don't want to make a bad hire and have to start all over.
And they also work with government fleets, right?
They do, yeah.
Maybe not as relevant to your average independent shop,
Probably not.
but it shows they've got experience with different types of clients.
It does. It shows they're versatile.
And they're big on using data and AI in their recruiting.
Yeah, they're data-driven.
So how does that help in this situation?
Well, they can use that data to find the best candidates,
Okay.
analyze trends, see where the talent is, and they can do it all faster and more efficiently than traditional methods.
So they save the shops time and money,
They do.
which, again, is super important with this tariff looming.
Exactly. Resources are precious.
And they have that podcast, too.
Oh, yeah, the one on talent and staffing trends
Yes.
shows that they're staying on top of things, you know?
Right, they're not just sitting back.
They're proactive.
They're out there figuring out how to solve these problems.
That's what you want
Yeah.
in a partner.
So big picture, how can Jess Recruiting really make a difference for these shops in Arizona?
Well, they can help them find the right people, even with the shortage. They can make hiring more affordable, and they can help shops keep their best employees.
So they're attacking the problem from multiple angles.
They are.
Which is what you need in a situation like this.
You need a comprehensive approach.
Okay, so we've talked about how the shops might be affected, how they might find and keep workers.
Yeah.
But what about the customers?
The car owners.
Yeah, how are they going to react to all this?
Well, we already talked about some possibilities.
Right, like delaying repairs,
Yeah, putting things off.
looking for cheaper parts.
Maybe even skipping maintenance altogether.
But are there other ways they might respond?
Maybe we could see a bigger shift towards used parts.
Instead of new ones?
Exactly. Save some money.
And what about people buying new cars?
That's interesting.
Do you think the tariff could influence what kind of car people buy?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Some people might think, oh, I'll buy an American car, then the parts won't be affected.
Right, but we know it's not that simple.
No, it's not.
Even American cars use imported parts.
The supply chain is global.
Yeah.
So even if you buy a car made in America, you're still going to feel the impact of the tariff.
Yeah, those repairs are still going to cost more.
They are.
But here's a thought.
Okay.
What if this whole thing makes people hold on to their cars longer?
That's a possibility.
Because new cars might get more expensive too.
Yeah, if there are tariffs on imported cars.
Right, so people might say, you know what? I'm just going to keep my old car running.
Makes sense.
Which could actually lead to more repair work in the long run.
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah, maybe this is a boon for the repair industry in the long term.
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of unknowns.
A lot of moving parts.
But it's definitely something to think about.
Definitely.
So, to sum it all up,
Okay.
this tariff, it's a big deal.
It is.
It's going to have a real impact on Arizona's auto repair shops.
Higher costs, tougher competition for workers.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
It is.
But companies like Jess Recruiting, they might be able to help shops navigate these choppy waters.
They could be a valuable resource.
So here's something to ponder as we wrap up.
Right.
We've talked about the tariff, the worker shortage, how customers might react.
Yeah, a lot of ground covered.
But what other solutions are out there?
Right. What can shops do to not just survive, but thrive in this new environment?
Yeah, what innovative approaches can they take?
Maybe it's new technology, maybe it's different ways of training.
Maybe it's partnering with companies like Jess Recruiting.
Right. Finding creative solutions.
Because this isn't just about one tariff.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about the future of the auto repair industry.